What's this next job all about?
I need to find a saltpeter pit.
Never a wasted word, eh, Crazel?
Short and to the point. That's my credo.
And how long will it take before you tell me what a saltpeter pit is?
A saltpeter pit is a pit in which saltpeter is formed.
This has something to do with that alchemy of yours, eh?
Nitra is saltpeter.
And what needs salting here in the mill? Or is it supposed to be some peculiar Crazel wedding gift for a young Semine?
Nothing of the sort. The Kabbalistic doctrine speaks of saltpeter as a vessel for the inexhaustible essence of life. Those white crystals are said to contain the very essence of being. That's precisely what we need to give life to our golem. Thanks to the ingredients from Hermes Trismegistos, his feet will never get tired and his fists will have the power to smash rocks. But saltpeter is the most important thing. Saltpeter will be the golem's heart.
So you're serious about this golem?
Certainly.
How much saltpeter will it take to bring to...
A lot. That's why I want you to find me a decent saltpeter pit.
I was hoping I'd learn something useful from you.
Well, you never know when an experience...
All right, then. I'll look around for that. I just hope you know where to look. And also that you'll get me into that...
Yes, Bonnie has a lead. She's a damned handy girl to have around. But for you, the most important thing is that she knows how to look for niter.
So Bonnie is most likely a thief, am I right?
Bonnie is someone I trust without question. Not only will she teach you how to find saltpeter, but also how to differentiate it from common salt. The main difference is it has kind of cooling taste.
Hold your horses. You want me to taste that nasty stuff?
If you don't taste it, you could confuse it with some nasty rot. And you don't want that.
Damn right.
Don't be such a lily liver, Henry. If Bonnie can taste saltpeter, so can you. She'll tell you the rest herself. You'll find her in the lair. That's a secret storage space I have here just by the pond. Only my best people can get in.
How can I get to this lair?
There's a bridge over the mill stream towards the southwest. Take the path to the left, just behind it along the pond. From that path, you turn right, uphill, between the rocks, and you'll find yourself right in front of the lair. You can't miss it. Oh, and so I don't forget. You could pick some herbs along the way to see. She's just been through some tough times. Her dog died, and on top of that... On the other hand, Zedek might be holding his tongue for a while after his encounter with the Troskowitz stocks.
If Bonnie spends time with Zinnek, she may want some spirits rather than herbs.
Bonnie? Never. Being a decent Christian, she avoids alcohol like the plague. Right along.
To the lair.
See you soon, my friend.
Greetings to you.
Here, Mutt. What was that noise? Woodcutters? Go! Whoa!
Lord be with you.
I'm Henry, Miller Crazel's new apprentice. He sent me to search for a niter pit, and said you might be able to help me with that.
Of course I will. I'm Bonnie. Nice to meet you.
Bonnie? It's not a name I hear often.
It's not the name I was baptized with. In our craft, it ain't a good idea to tell people your real name. That's why we use nicknames. What should we call you?
The Wolf of Skalitz.
Well, that's not very creative. You know what? I'll come up with a nickname for you myself when I get to know you better. Did you bring me something from the mill?
Actually, Crazel said you'd appreciate some herbs.
He's right there. Do you have some for me?
I'm sorry.
I reckon I'll just have to scrape together.
What kind of magic ritual?
The kind where Zenek finally gets some sense into his head and stops making stupid beginner's mistakes. Just so you know, that mess with the author of Hermes Trismegistos would never have happened to me. Not me. While we're on the subject of rituals, did Crazel tell you about the golem?
He did.
And what do you think of it?
I'm curious to see what a golem made of flour will look like, but I'm mostly curious to see if Crazel will really be able to breathe life into it with the help of saltpeter.
I'm more worried that as soon as it comes to life, it'll slay us all with one blow. So, if by some chance it looks like something's going wrong, you won't see my heels for dust. And I suggest you do the same. But that's enough of that. We're not going to stand here talking about flower golems when we've barely just met. I'd like to chat with you too, Henry. Get to know you a bit. But if you're in a hurry to find Crazel's saltpeter, I won't keep you.
No. I have plenty of time. But where to start?
You know what? I'll start. When they caught Zenek in Troskovitz, I was scared out of my mind that they'd catch me and clap me in the stocks. I had to hide out here for a while, so I haven't had anyone to talk to. Life in the lair isn't all fun and games. Zenek and all the other mill knuckleheads were never worth much as company. So I'm glad the millers finally found a normal hand for once. You've got a beautiful dog. What's his name?
Mutt.
What a cute fella. How did you find each other?
Among the wolves. Not a word of a lie. That is, I lost him, and then found him again in a wolf pack.
Well, that's what I call an interesting past. I used to have a dog, but I don't anymore.
He died.
He started getting these lumps all over his body. He stopped eating, just slept all the time. And then, well, what's done is done. And what about you? What kind of family are you from? Also, Thieves?
No. Pa was a blacksmith. I inherited something from him, I hope.
Oh, really? Would you teach me how to make, maybe, barrel hoops?
Those are pretty hard. Wouldn't you rather start with, maybe nails?
Sure. I'm pretty quick to learn and patient. That is, with one exception. When Crazel starts spouting off his alchemy theories, I'd rather run for the hills. What do you think of the old miller, anyway?
He seems awfully mystical.
It's his beard that does that. Don't let it fool you. Thanks for talking to me. It really is good to have someone to pour my heart out to. But now, about that saltpeter. Before you came, and before Zenek fucked up with the manuscript, we collected saltpeter all over the place, mainly in sties. It has to be scraped from the walls. Horrible work, time-consuming and annoying. I'm not going to lie to you. We also looked in a few chests, just in case. You know. Anyhow, now all the sties in the region are scraped clean and we're sitting pretty on a nice barrel of saltpeter.
Barrel is quite a lot.
For the whole Trotsky region, aye. Unfortunately, Crazel said we need at least 6 times as much.
6 times? Will one saltpeter pit be enough?
I reckon so. There should be as much as Crazel needs for his masterwork. If you're looking for it, you ought to know how saltpeter forms. Do you have any idea?
Certainly. Well, you take a chunk of salt and pray to St. Peter to miraculously transform it.
You won't find it any joking matter soon enough. Don't forget that saltpeter crystals are formed in places where something is rotting. It can be shit or carcasses. Well, a saltpeter pit is actually nothing more than a mass grave. The best natural saltpeter maker.
Crazel said saltpeter is a vessel for life energy. I get it that it's left over from dead bodies, but how do you get it from shit?
God's mysterious ways. You know how it is.
And he also wanted me to taste it. That's nonsense though, isn't it?
Unfortunately, it isn't. Otherwise, you won't know if it's saltpeter or some other shit. It feels kind of cold on the tongue.
Jesus. And you know where to look for such a pit full of carcasses, do you?
Not exactly, but I have an idea. Times are evil and there's plenty of corpses. A person who's digging holes and throwing dead bodies into them and doesn't even know he's got a a saltpeter mine.
The local grave...
Exactly. And the one we have here in the region is...
Oh, I haven't met him yet. Where can I find him?
The cemetery is beyond Troskovitz, towards the Apollonia rocks.
So I'm in for a walk to the cemetery.
Seems like it. Too bad you couldn't have walked around the county with us before. It was fun. And pretty useful experience. I learned a lot during that time, and I won't keep it to myself. I'd be happy to teach you something, if you want.
I'll keep that in mind.
That old gravedigger will be suspicious, so... I'd bring him some kind of offering. He's always dragging those carcasses, so I'm sure he'd appreciate a slab of fresh meat from Troskovitz butcher.
Good idea.
He lives a short way from the cemetery, so at least the meat won't go bad on the way. Lots of luck, the Wolf of Skalitz.
Why do you work for the miller?
Because he pays well, and don't care how much coin I make on the side.
You mean by stealing?
And he doesn't ask any stupid questions.
What did you do before?
I got by any way I could. Believe it or not, I started in a convent.
You? A nun? Well, why not? I was in the cloisters myself for a while.
Oh well, different people have different fates. But we all ended up here anyway, in the armpit of the world.
What do you think about Crazel?
You're another one of those that don't know if they should love him or hate him, right? Crazel is his own man. Once you learn to get along with him, you can't help but admire him a bit. But sometimes, he's unbearable as soon as he opens his mouth.
What do you know about the Troskovitz gravedigger?
He's a pretty tough old bird. He follows the rule, I'll treat you the way you treat me. And he appreciates when a fella's direct and open. But I probably wouldn't tell him everything about us.
So, Bonnie, the most honest girl I know, sent me. I'd like to see some dead animals as models for painting a church fresco. A scene from the apocalypse.
That might be a bit much, but you learn fast.
How was the saltpeter collection and tasting again? Sounds pretty disgusting.
It wasn't so bad. Xenet kept whining about it, but being a saltpeter collector, when you go and clean someone's, we made a pretty...
What, by stealing?
Confiscating.
What is this lair place?
Crazel built a stall so all them honest, curious people in the mill, the likes of Hensel, wouldn't have to worry their little heads about what we're doing here.
You mean behind that boarded up door in the cliff?
We're definitely not doing anything there right now. Because of the mess in there. I told Xenek to clean it up. I think he wants to see if the place will get so rotten that saltpeter will bloom on the walls.
Greetings, my friend.
You must be the local gravedigger, right? I'm Henry.
Ignatius, master of the sod, at your service. Looking for a final resting place? Or do you need to bury a dead goat?
None of that. I have a different, slightly unusual request. Bonnie from Lower Semine sent me. We're looking for a saltpeter pit.
From Lower Semine? What pit?
A saltpeter pit.
I ain't never heard of nothing like that. What's it supposed to be? A pit to hell?
Nah, it's actually just a pit full of carcasses. These white crystals form on the walls of it, and that's exactly what we're after.
Ah, now I get it. You should have said you're looking for the pit I throw carcasses into. What's all this about salty Peter? I'm going to go there anyway, so I'll take you there.
Really? That was easier than I thought.
Not even a chicken scratches in the dirt without hope of reward, though. You'll help me with something first. I have some collections from some Stratego farmsteads, and I'd be a fool if I didn't use a helping hand. At least one day I can take it a bit easy.
You want me to help you with your grave digging business?
Why not? You look like a strong fella. You'll be a good helper.
I have a better idea. You tell me where I can find that pit, and I'll give you a nice piece of fresh meat for it.
I won't say no to... Oh, aye, fresh meat. Now, listen closely. That pit of yours lies at the end of a long journey that we'll take together on my wagon.
So you got meat out of me for nothing?
When I see how much you lot in Lower Semine are interested in it, but thanks for the meat. Grave digging is a job like any other, and if it wasn't for us knackers, folk would have to deal with their animal carcasses themselves.
Of course, I understand. I'm just a little worried about what people will say about me when they see me with you. I wouldn't like to lose the honor I've earned as squire to a nobleman.
Don't worry about what people say. They'll only strip you of your honor if you let them. So what then? Shall we take a nice little ride with my boys Snorter and Dragonfly here? Nice and early, at daybreak.
Let's get this over with then.
Didn't you understand me? We ain't going nowhere now. Like I said, be here at daybreak. That's between night and day. Do you understand?
Is there some place I can wait for morning to come?
Of course, if you've got nothing better to do, you can sit here with me. If you know how to read, I have a book hidden in the outhouse I got of a dead fella. That'll make the time go faster. In fact, you can keep it. All I can do is admire all them fancy squiggles in it anyway.
And where can I sleep?
At the inn in Truscovitz. Get a good breakfast there too. You'll need it to be at full strength. Here's a little something so you know I take care of my helpers. See you in the morning.
Have you heard any?
There's something new every day.
Do you know what happened with the bodies from near the pond? Tankard, Conrad.
Who?
Well, you wouldn't know their names. A couple of soldiers that fell there. Where are they buried?
Oh, I remember them. They all ended up in a pit together right by the cemetery. All I got was a yellow waffen rock for the effort. Getting them out of there was a grind. They was well fed. You could tell right away they was from better parts than this here county.
Yeah, you're right. They're a long way from home.
Not to worry. Earth is earth, wherever it is.
Are you and the herb woman related? You both look, well, really old.
We're not related. We both got some years behind us, and we're both unclean in our own ways. That's all we have in common. Different herb women came to me from time to time for hangman's nooses or nails from the gallows. What they do with them is their own business. I'm just a trader. But Bozhena ain't like the others. She's an honest herb woman who only heals with herbs and prayers. Do you know why they chased her out of town?
I don't.
Well, I'm not the one who should be telling you, but I'll tell you one thing. There's a place called Limbus Puerorum. Make sure you never send anyone there, not even by accident.
I'll keep it. I had to dabble in your trade a little bit. I buried a young man from the nomad camp who got beaten to death by woodcutters.
I know. Don't think I didn't try to get him for myself. He wasn't baptized, so I couldn't bury him in the cemetery. It gave me a terrible itch. The damned woodcutters left him there like a solstice decoration.
I buried him in his favorite place.
You did well. Don't hesitate to bury any other corpses you find left unburied. You have my blessing. I can tell right away if a fella understands an honest trade.
How's life?
I'll come to think of it, the only thing I, the shoemaker's children, all the young folks these days care about is making coin. Nobody's interested in the honest trade of grave digging anymore.
You got a big cemetery here. Pretty nice, too.
Ain't it? But being the grave digger, I'll never have a place of my own here. They'll throw me by the wall like a dog and bury me without ceremony. But when I'm dead, I won't care. If it was up to me, I'd even bury the suicides in hallowed ground. We're all equal before death and the Lord. This game of better and worse places of final rest don't count for nothing.
What's the story with
The story?
But you said there's been a lot of people dying.
Well, it ain't usual for people to get offed by the cartload out here in...
I don't know. Hadn't really thought about it that way.
That might be the reason then, hey?
What?
Look, I'm not suggesting anything. I'm just saying there's a lot of people dying. If things keep up like this, I'll be out of work in no time. There'll be no one left to bury.
I don't know if I'm completely ready for this. But let's get going.
The dew is still on the leaves. You don't need your horse. I'll stable him here. It'll be heaven for him. In any case, heaven's always close here. Hop on the wagon and Snorter and Dragonfly here will take care of us. Did I bring that stuff for Visor? Meat? Bane? Aesop? Got it all. Good. Come on, then. Get a move on. We've got a long journey ahead of us, so get yourself comfortable so your arse won't hurt. So...
Sick!
Oh, Jesus, what a stench. Better quickly throw it in a sack and take it back to the wagon.
Idea what you're talking about.
Two stinking bastards that was here.
Hey, we got another one.
Get over here! Now!
I'm coming.
Move it!
What's going on, Ignatius?
I'm trying to explain to these fellas we've got nothing to do with no thieving around here. They should go to Lower Samine to complain.
Two stinking pieces of shit was sneaking around our sties and cellars and lining their purses with silver too while they was at it. Some scruffy and dunger. You must be scruffy, eh?
I'm Henry, and those, names mean nothing to me.
Like I said, if it's rotten carrion they're after, they should have come to me. A passion for knacking is the only thing we have in common.
Is that so? So prove it then.
Take a good look at me. Do I look like a thief? Or more like a commonplace, maybe just slightly grubby, hired hand. At this rate, you could blame any old peasant who's grimy after a hard day's work.
I don't know. I don't reckon I've ever seen a real thief up close.
Ask around about me and you'll find out everyone knows I can't stand a liar. I'll keep my promises and show up on time. So enough talk, and let's carry on to where duty calls us.
All right, listen. We'll be going then. But if you happen to run into them two thieves, you tell us right away. Got it?
Of course.
You can count on it.
Glad to hear it. Let's go, fellas. Maybe... Did I get this right?
I suppose we can carry on.
Don't forget that carcass. After all that, we can't leave without it.
Yeah, you're right. Not much left for us to do here, eh?
Hopefully our luck will hold out, and we'll only be breaking the limbs of carcasses today. The next farm's just up ahead. Hop on, and let's go. Here we come, Snorter. Don't worry. That was just a kind of little favour for me. Now we'll help the locals here in Jdar with their carcasses.
So far, I've just carried sacks. I already did that for the miller.
Yesterday, the good wife from that farm came and told me both their pigs died. So we'll scoop them up and haul them off. I mean, you scoop them up and haul them to my cart. She says it was a curse. There was a flash of lightning, the pigs started trembling, squealing and puking, and then keeled over and dropped dead.
All right, that's what you get. People sin here in their seclusion, thinking they're out of sight of our Lord.
It ain't my first day doing this job, so I could see right off them pigs had been poisoned. The good wife swore them pigs were happy as, well, pigs in shit. She said they even let them go to a nearby stream to have a wallow. It flows here through the forest on the right. Since we're here, you ought to go and take a look around there. Check how clear that spring really is.
All right, I'll see what's going on there.
And I'm going to enjoy having a helper. At least for one day. Maybe I'll roll around in the grass here with Snorter and Dragonfly. Well, here like I promised, they even had a helper here with me who'll be doing the carrying today.
Where are we going to find?
Jesus. This is disgusting.
A waste of good meat. Poor things. A waste of good meat.
Those pigs came here to drink. Where to now? I can smell something upstream. Here it is. Wolves must have killed them. They didn't even eat them up. I'll go and tell Ignatius. It really wasn't a curse. There are rotting carcasses in the water upstream from the watering spot. No wonder the pigs caught some disease.
Well, what do you know? I was right. I'll give you a hand. It'd take you all night on your own. God bless you.
I'd rather go back to sacks of flour.
Pretty hefty, hey? They lived like royalty here. Pretty hefty, hey? They lived like royalty here.
Do you want to keep going or not?
I took care of the carcasses. We can drive on.
Nice work. There's even a bit of meat left for me.
Yeah, you'd eat that. They've been lying there God knows how long.
But nicely in the cold. There's nothing wrong with it. Anyway, you won't be eating it, so don't worry about it. Let's keep going. Lads, seeing as how you don't obey me, you're surely horsing around today.
Here you go. Take it.
Come on then, get a move on. So far it ain't that bad, eh? You don't have to take down no hanged man or bury an unbaptized child.
Ever since I started working for the miller, all I did was carry sacks. The sack makers here in the region must live like kings. Of course, it could be a lot worse.
I like having to carry sacks full of thistles. Now listen to me closely. You won't be carrying anything at the next farmstead. Instead, you'll have to make one carcass there. See, the work of a knacker ain't just about clearing away dead animals. Now and then, you've got to put down some creature, so it don't suffer. Or, like today, to put it down so everyone around it don't have to suffer. In this case, we're talking about a dog.
Well, what can I do? But I doubt I'll feel good about it.
That cur belongs to the greengrocer, Vizar. I've heard they're both pretty fierce. Don't draw too much attention to yourself at the farmstead. I'll give you some Aesop potion to drink first, and some meat and bane. Soak the meat with the poison and throw it to the dog. He'll probably be locked in a pen somewhere. As soon as it's done, we'll disappear before anyone notices anything. I got paid well for it from the neighbors, so don't fuck it up for me. Yeah! Yeah! Lazy bones. Yeah! Yeah! God bless you.
Where'd you come from? What are you doing here, Hen?
Bonnie? What are you doing here?
What are you doing here?
Now, first, tell me what you're doing here. And how come you're with that beast?
He's no beast. I came here to save him.
You mean steal him?
For him, it'll be a redemption from that whoreson master of his. I'll take care of him, in place of my poor dead sniffer.
Bonnie... The gravedigger, he's been paid to do it by the people whose lives... It's the last thing I need to do before he shows me the pit.
It's not the animal. When Zenek and I were here last, I saw how old Vysarik treats him. He doesn't give him food. You wouldn't kill a dumb creature just because its master is a sick whoreson, would you?
Well, you don't have to convince me. Ever since the gravedigger told me to do it, I've been trying to figure out how to save that dog. If you want to take him, I won't stop you.
You're a much better Christian than I thought you were. I'll take him to the lair. We'll meet there.
Hurry off now, before...
Come on now, boy. You'll like it in the lair.
Oh, you mutt.
What now?
It's taken care of.
Taken care of?
I set the dog free. He didn't deserve to die.
For fuck's sake, didn't deserve to die? We were supposed to get rid of him, 'cause that's just what he deserves.
Bonnie from the mill came and took the dog before we got to him.
Well, fuck me. How much more is that girl going to steal before she has enough?
Oh, she'll take better care of him than Baysar did. All he needs is to be fed properly, and he won't be dangerous anymore.
I surely fucking hope not. Because if he runs off and ravages something or someone again, then we didn't help at all. Let's go before we start looking suspicious.
So this is it. This is the pit.
Slowly, boy, slowly. Have a bit of respect. Death always deserves...
I was expecting some huge hole in the 3 piles of earth, and that's it.
3 huge piles, you mean? True, it used to be one big... But then I found out when you pile up carcasses in... And the better it rots, the...
I won't.
Well, I'd better not... And soon...
Well,
You're going to...
it's the only way I can be so...
God's nails. Wait a moment, I've got a reward for you. Just so take it as a thanks for your help.
Who knows? Maybe that'll really be my fate. I'll live at the cemetery, build piles of carcasses, and eat bread with saltpeter.
Here's something that'll definitely come in handy, either with me...
Thanks.
Taste it then. Get to it. This I have got to see. You didn't have to make such a feast of it.
Look at me. From a Lord's messenger to a taste... of cadavers. If you're going back to your cottage...
Of course. But in return, you have to help me get all this lot buried. So there's some more saltpeter in the making. What?
Greetings, my friend.
I found the place where we can harvest saltpeter. You just head out of Troskovitz towards Apollonia, carry on alongside the road, then head off it at the right spot. Only it's not a pit, it's 3 piles of earth. The gravedigger Ignatius drove me there himself.
And is it the real stuff? Did you taste it?
Yeah. And I hope I never have to do that again. Ugh. I think the experience has changed me forever.
Oh, come on. You whine more than Zinnik. It's just commonplace salt. I was hoping it'd be closer. To go all the way to Apollonia. If I send 2 wagons, that should be enough.
What should I do?
That means I could mix a barrel and a half.
Crazul, focus. What else do you need from me?
Oh, sorry. What were you asking? About a reward? It's right here.
Thanks. How's it going with the golem?